I will go ahead and call to order our September 11th, 2025 City Council meeting for the City of Longview. In recognition of 9/11, we have asked some of our wonderful first responders to come and lead our prayer and pledge. I would like to ask to step forward LPD Officer Ladarian Brown for the prayer and Longview Fire Lieutenant Trent Montgomery for the pledge. If you guys will come forward and everyone stand.
Let us pray. Most gracious, wise, and everlasting Father, we gather today as leaders, public servants, and as neighbors concerned about the well-being of Longview. In a time when our nation faces division, unrest, fear, and challenges, both seen and unseen, we ask for your presence among us, Lord. Please grant us a peace that calms anxiety, soothes tensions, and bridges gaps. Help us to remember that even when voices differ, we are bound together by our shared purpose to serve. Lord, tonight we ask that you would give these elected leaders and city leadership the wisdom to discern what is just, fair, and sustainable, the compassion to hear those who live and whose lives are most affected by their decisions, the courage to do what is right even when it is difficult, and the humility to admit error, listen, adapt, and grow. God, we pray for unity, not uniformity, but harmony in diversity, not silence of dissent, but respectful dialogue that leads towards understanding and betterment. Now, Lord, prior to leaving your throne of grace, we pray that we all remember the courage and sacrifice of those men and women who lost their lives on September 11, 2001. We honor the fallen, the first responders, the service members, and ordinary citizens who ran towards danger to save others. We lift up their families who still carry the weight of the burden of that ash-filled day. And may your comfort continue to sustain them. And we pray for your continued protection over those who serve today to defend the very freedoms that those on that day attempted to attack. It's in your Son, Jesus' name, we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you guys so much. First on our presentation agenda is a presentation of proclamation recognizing October 7th, 2025 as National Night Out Day here in the city of Longview. I think I have representatives from Partners in Prevention and Longview Fire and PD, if you would come on up.
Not everybody at once.
We don't bite. No nip. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Double duty. I like it. May as well. Come on up. Come on up. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on up here. I want to just make sure that everybody here realizes National Night Out is happening Tuesday, October 7th. It is a very important community event and probably the most important thing that you individually can do to help make Longview safer by getting out and meeting your neighbors. So currently we have 77 parties registered, which is great, but we are looking for more. So please go to the City of Longview website /NNO and find out if there is a party in your neighborhood. Attend that party on the 7th, and if there's not, please consider hosting one. This is how we get to know our neighbors, how we have a crime watch in our community, how we meet our city council members, our mayor, our fire, our police, the people that can help you when you have an issue. So please make sure and invest that time. It's incredibly important. It is now my honor by proclamation to recognize October 7th, 2025 as National Night Out Day in the city of Longview. National Night Out began in 1984 and is a unique crime, drug, and violence prevention program with participation in more than 17,000 communities from all 50 states. We will celebrate this here in Longview on Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. which provides an opportunity for Longview and Gregg County residents to participate in local gatherings, recognize their impact, and how their participation can have on reducing crime, drugs, and violence in our community. Now, therefore, I, as mayor of the city of Longview, do hereby proclaim October 7th as National Night Out Day in the city of Longview. Congratulations. I'll give you that back. I think next up is the YSML, Youth Services Men's League. Did I say that wrong? YMSL. Okay. If you are here for an acronym, come on up. Any of you? No, that's okay. You want to say something? I would love for you to say something. Yeah. So tonight we have with us the Young Men's Service League, which is an organization here in Longview, and I'm going to do the proclamation in just a minute, but is it Connor? Connor's going to tell us a little bit about what they do.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm Connor Kelsey. On behalf of YMSL, I would just like to say, it's a great place to serve our community. The goal of YMSL is for us students to get enough service hours, but also to enjoy working with our mothers and spending time with our mothers, getting closer in our relationships with our mothers, and because our desire to get to know our parents better will ultimately make us better, and just to improve our family situation.
You're here. Good job, Connor. It is now my honor to declare September 6th, 2025 as the Young Men's Service League Day here in the city of Longview. This is a national nonprofit organization. Its members are moms and their teenage sons who volunteer together to serve their local communities. The Longview chapter has served approximately 7,594 hours since its founding in 2022. This year, YMSL Longview was selected by the national group to receive a grant from the 9/11 Day Youth Engagement Program funded by AmeriCorps to complete this year's Ultimate Gift project at Longview Community Ministries. The Ultimate Gift is an annual partnership with a philanthropic community that assists with a project that they would not otherwise be able to achieve without YMSL support. YMSL Longview Moms and Sons worked a total of 222 hours this past weekend at Longview Community Ministries, installing a French drain, painting exterior and interior facilities, and dedicating a bench to be used by LCM clients. That's amazing. Good job, guys, at a bus stop. Now, therefore, I, as mayor of the city of Longview, do hereby proclaim September 6, 2025 as Young Men's Service League Day here in the city of Longview. Congratulations. Next up, Ray Wade. You're our next presentation. No clapping. Also, if you are feeling hot, it is because the AC is not currently working in here. So I normally talk fast, but I will be talking faster this evening. So it is not just you. It is hot in here, and we're working on it.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Let me just have the paper so I don't mess up.
Absolutely.
Good evening, everyone. As everyone know, a few months ago, we had a huge heroic act by one of our citizens. And once that happened, I received phone calls, the city received phone calls, and we had a local law firm that reached out, wanted to offer a great gift. But once again, this gives us an opportunity to recognize the heroism of Mr. Corey Street.
Woo, woo.
Corey Street, please come up. I'd like Mr. Street to know that, man, for his actions and his brave efforts, we all received calls, but I got phone calls from people I went to school with out in Oregon, said they saw it on the news and said, hey, man, aren't you from Longview? I just saw that. And so, it was a great deed. And along with that, we had a local attorney here, Mr. Matthew Hill, that donated 2 years of a bus pass. Mr. Hill, please come on up, sir. Donated 2 years of a bus pass, free service. for Mr. Corey Street. I just wanted the two gentlemen to meet. And there's the bus pass there for Mr. Corey Street. There you go, sir. Yeah. Let's get him in the middle. All right. Nice. We'll talk about the Laker hat later on. We'll talk about the Laker hat. All right. There's no heroism out in L.A. with a Laker hat. Thank you. Mr. Street, thank you, sir.
You can give it to Angie. Yep. Thank you, Mr. Hill and Mr. Street. We're so glad to have you back. Next on our agenda is citizen comment. I do have a couple of speaker cards. We will start with Jeff Lynn Tate. And just as you're walking up, I'll remind you that we changed our rules last time, so all you need to tell us is your name. If you'd like to identify your council person, feel free, but that's all you need to tell us.
My name is Jeff Lynn Tate. My council person is not here today, but I just wanted to thank all of you for all the works that have been done on the streets like Fairmont and McCann and Estes Parkway, and the need for continued work on Spur 63 from Highway 80 to Fairmont. And I appreciate everything that you've done so far. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here and for hosting a National Night Out party. Next speaker card is from Stan Orlando.
That was close.
Pretty close?
Orlando.
85%.
Very good, thank you. I'm a recent transplant from California, but I wasn't a Laker fan, so sorry. What can I say? Can we hear okay?
Yes, sir.
Today, I just wanted to also recognize and remember and honor those who lost their lives on 9/11. We all remember that day very well, but I especially want to recognize and pray for the heroic first responders, the men and women of law enforcement, firefighters, medical staff, and we're proud of you guys. And we do thank the local first responders for their selfless sacrifices, day and night. So, thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen. I also wanted to take a minute to remember and honor Charlie Kirk. A coward's bullet silenced an American hero, a father, a husband, but more importantly, a true believer and follower of Jesus Christ. He represented a young generation and spoke for those who couldn't speak for themselves, like the unborn, the youth, the innocent victims of crimes, and etc. He displayed honor, love, and patience to those who confronted him. I pray we as a city will recognize his contributions to our nation, to our state, and to our city, but more importantly, his impact on the next generation of young leaders should be recognized. And especially to the young men who were here earlier. They represent they look like a good group of gentlemen who are willing to serve. So may there be a bold generation of heroes like Charlie Kirk. And I just have a scripture to share. It's Isaiah 61:3. To grant to those who mourn in Zion, to give them a beautiful crown instead of ashes, the oil of gladness instead of mourning, the garment of praise instead of a faint spirit, that they may be called oaks of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he may be glorified. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have no more speaker cards. Would anyone like to come up and speak and fill out a card after? Oh, I have two more? Okay. I saw Miss Brenda Woolridge walk in. Yeah, come on. I'm ready for him. Come on up. If you just step to the microphone, tell us your name.
Good evening. My name is Shanika Warrett. I am here on a concern that I have. I have a business on the corner of Green Street and Birdsong. once upon a time, we had a light there, a traffic light there. Now it is only a blinking light. I have asked some officers to, sit around that light because we have too many people that's running through that light and not stopping at all. We've had several accidents there. Every day we have near misses, and I'm not saying like 1 or 2 a day. I'm talking like 1 or 2 every hour. So I am concerned that someone is gonna really get hurt there. I would hate to see people that's walking over there and no one stopping. It's not the traffic that's going across Green Street because there's a dip there and they're going to stop. It is the traffic that's going down. It's not the traffic going across Birdsong, but it is the traffic that's going down Green Street. So I'm hoping, wishing that we can put that light right back there because we need it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here. You filled out a card and gave us your
Yes.
contact? Okay. I tell you what, I will have the right person from the right department call you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. And Mr. Wade will call you too.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Ms. Woolridge, are you my next comment?
Yes,
Come on down.
I apologize for being late.
You-
Getting hard in. I just rose to thank Mr. McPhee, Mr. Archer, the city police, the firemen. Everybody showed up for our grand reopening on Birdsong Street, Harvey Johnson, and American School, y'all, city council, and everybody that showed up. And I just want to let you know how much we appreciate it. And it was a great success, and everybody enjoyed it. And I thank you all for all that you've done, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
You fed every one of us, so thank you. Do I have any other speaker cards or anyone that would like to step up and fill out a card when they're done? Okay. If not, I will move on to our discussion agenda. Discussion item A, presentation and discussion regarding changes made to the regulation of food trucks during our state legislative session. Oop, got it. Mr. Shirley.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council, Mr. McPhee. I want to bring you up to date on our progress with making changes to our mobile food units. As you may remember, back at the beginning of the year, we started talking about the need to reevaluate our mobile food unit program. We hosted in February an info session where we solicited input and made some presentations as far as some potential changes that we had discussed internally. At that time, the state legislature was getting kicked off. During that process, Senate Bill 1008 and House Bill 2844 were filed that would significantly impact our ability to further regulate food trucks. And so at that time, we kind of pressed pause on moving forward with our changes and recommendations to kind of see how that played out. And so through that legislative process, we did see some changes that have gone into effect and will go into effect. And so I just want to touch on those changes just so you're aware of how that industry will be changing in the city of Longview over the next 6 to 8 months. Essentially, Senate Bill 1008, which is effective September 1, so that is effective now, basically limits local permitting power across the health and safety code. So that's not just food trucks, but that's the retail food industry as a whole. And basically what it does is it limits our ability to issue permits as to only those permits that the state issues. So if the state health Department of Health, State Health Services, so if they issue a permit for a certain type of retail food establishment, food unit, what so have you, then we can issue it. If they don't, then we are prohibited. So there's some significant changes there. Our fee structure has to be in line with what the state's fee structure is, which we made some changes in our fee process, as well as how we regulate the food trucks. And so one of the big changes there, and was one of the things that was kind of the highly contested, discussed issues, is in Longview, we previously required a food truck's commissary to be located within the city limits. That was something that we were looking at making changes to. However, with the adoption of Senate Bill 1008, that change has been made for us where we can no longer regulate that. So the mobile food unit does have to have a commissary in some situations. There are some situations that the state would not require it, and so we have to follow suit with those state requirements. So that is something that is currently effective. What that does, and the purpose for that, was trying to reduce redundancy across boundaries when food trucks were having multiple permits across multiple jurisdictions. So there is some consistency that's built into that in the restaurant side as well, but there is going to be some confusion that's created because there's some other changes that will impact the brick and mortar restaurants as well. Also, the restriction on food managers. So there are some jurisdictions that were requiring to have a local food manager certification. In the city of Longview, we did not do that. We just required that they have a state recognized food manager certification. So that is kind of a summary of how Senate Bill 1008 would impact mobile food units. The more significant House Bill 2844, which will mostly become effective July 1 of 2026, that is kind of the major preemption bill. So that is the bill that basically takes jurisdiction for food trucks away from cities and other jurisdictions, and will put that directly under the state Department of State Health Services. So starting July 1, all food units in the state of Texas will be permitted, regulated, and inspected by the state. So basically, we will have no jurisdiction on the operation of the food truck from the health safety side. We will still have jurisdiction when it comes to zoning. So as far as where they can operate and how they operate from the zoning side, like stating that they have to be in a certain zoning district, they have to be located on a paved surface and have certain amenities like that. There are some of those that we can still require. We can require them to follow our fire codes. However, we cannot require them to have an annual fire inspection from the city. If they have one from another entity, we have to honor that one. But still do have to require that they meet the fire code on the food trucks. And that's something that in the more current fire codes, there are specifically sections related to food trucks, being kind of a new category. The House bill does set up a program that would allow the state to enter into collective agreements with cities if the cities choose to do those inspections. And that is something that as they develop that program and those agreements, we'll monitor and bring back to determine if that's the best fit for our jurisdiction. The concerns we have about that is the reimbursements, because they haven't set the fees and reimbursements of what they would pay the cities to do that. With the cities not having any real authority, we would, if we got called out on a complaint or to do an inspection and there was non-compliant issues, we would have no authority to enforce the correction. We would have to forward that onto the state and rely on them. So it will create confusion for our citizens in enforcement, and also looking at standards where they're used to seeing that similar standard across brick and mortar and food trucks. Now it'll be inconsistent. Also, the state will maintain a state database of all the permitted food trucks where you can go and see if they're permitted, see what their scores are. They will be basically building a new program for that, where they will have to have better inspection processes, because right now the way that they grade their retail food establishments is a little bit different, and so they will be on like a ABC type grading system instead of a number score. And then they also have to have the proper commercial driver's licenses, et cetera. So, we'll still be able to coordinate with the state on if we do receive a complaint, we can review that, but we'll have little enforcement ability. So that's basically the bulk of it, is that our authority will be removed come July, but from now until July, we'll still be permitting and regulating them. But some of those rules and how we regulate them are changing to match how the state handles that. And we did host a meeting a couple of weeks ago where we presented that, and we'll be sending out information as far as renewals come up, and as there are questions, we'll help walk them through that, because a lot of that is still being vetted through the state associations and all as well. Would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah. If I understand correctly now, if a food truck goes for an event, that's a public event, they pull a permit with us, and that will end July 1st, right?
So if the food truck has a mobile food unit license with us, then they can operate under that. If they don't have one and they're from out of town and they don't have a commissary, then what they're doing, or previously was operating under a special event permit. Come July, they'll have to have a mobile food unit permit from the state.
Okay, but nothing from us. So come
Nothing
July 1st.
from us.
Yeah.
And if they don't have that, and maybe they're not a mobile food unit, but they're a temporary food establishment, then we would still permit them as a temporary food establishment, and we would still have that authority. Some of the authorities that we're losing on the brick and mortar side is dealing with those that are like caterers. The state doesn't issue a caterer's license, so some of those that we have, we won't be issuing anymore.
Do you know offhand
Daycares and
how many
such.
mobile food units we have in Longview that are?
At any given time, we have anywhere from like 15 to 20, 25, somewhere there. Some, and that fluctuates between permitted and special event units, because there are some that only do special events. One of the other changes too, and previously we discussed where our department had limited the number of special events a temporary food vendor could do to like one every 30 days. There's nothing in the state requirements that restrict that, so that's something that is a change as well. So not necessarily mobile food unit, but temporary food, so.
Okay. Any
So
questions
that'll
for
make
Mr.
it more
Shirley?
flexible as
Yeah.
well.
Go ahead, Mr. Wade.
2 questions. The first one is, so obtaining this license, it's applied for at the establishment of the business, and then it's good for, and I apologize if I missed that point, but is it valued for on a yearly basis, or?
Yeah, so currently with the city, we'll issue a food permit, whether it be for brick and mortar or for a mobile food unit. Those are a 12-month. Those renew in January. And currently the state issues 2-year permits. But I think with this new program that they're going to create, that's probably going to have to change to an annual permit. So come July of 26, they'll have to obtain their mobile food permit directly from the state.
Right, so then that would eliminate the special event permit, because.
For some.
Because you would really have to plan way in advance, obviously, to get a permit from the state if you're planning to attend and/or be used just for a special event, correct?
Correct.
Okay, second question, what department with the state regulates this?
It's the Department of State Health Services, DSHS.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? Questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Shirley.
Thank you.
Appreciate the update. Next on our discussion is presentation and discussion regarding street pavement management investment. Mr. Dwayne Archer.
Mayor, members of council, Mr. McPhee, good evening. There's been increased focus on our roadway network lately, and we're very thankful for the citizens. They've come out, they've reported it in different ways, and telling us where they see roadways that need to be repaired, so we're very thankful for that. We've been tasked with a recommendation for $2 million. How would Public Works spend that $2 million to help that network? Our goal is to maximize the values of these funds by extending the pavement life, improving the drivability, and reducing long-term maintenance. As you know, our current overlay budget is $2 million each year. So this would actually give us an additional $2 million for the overlay budget for the next year. After looking at our pavement management model, Public Works proposes to resurface approximately 14 lane miles on 6 priority collectors. These were selected based on our pavement conditions, the traffic volume, and community benefit. So let me go over those. So Jordan Valley Road from Harrison Road to Fisher Road, Sabine from Moore Street to FM 1845, Young from Clover Lane to MLK Boulevard, 4th Street from Walnut Hill to Eden Drive, Heritage Boulevard from Gilmer Road to Canterbury Boulevard, and H.G. Mosley from Gilmer Road to Bill Owens Parkway. Together, these corridors serve neighborhoods, schools, and businesses, making them a high-value candidate for resurfacing. The $2 million investment in overlay on these 6 corridors will extend pavement life, improve safety, and reduce long-term cost. This is a practical, sustainable investment in Longview's road infrastructure. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Archer. Just as a reminder, while we're talking about this tonight, during our budgeting process, we had kind of talked about wanting to put more money towards roads. We obviously did not have additional funds in our general operating, but asked Mr. Archer to bring back, hey, if we did take some funds out of general reserves and commit it to this, what would that look like? So thank you. This is up for discussion tonight, guys. The amount is for discussion. The spots selected are for discussion. So any discussion, questions, or comments? No, did you?
I just have a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, Derek,
I
go
just
ahead.
noticed in the map, and I appreciate the research, and it seems that every district benefited from this upgrade.
Yeah, the collectors are what are used more than more of the local roads, and so these were the perfect choices for us.
Yep, go ahead, Jim.
Thanks, Dwayne, for putting this together. On the selection for Eden, for 4th Street between Walnut Hill and Eden.
Yes, sir.
I do agree that's a great section to overlay. And I wanted to just clarify on it. So on 4th Street, at that spot, that area, it has a lot of cupping to it. And so it does, it's just, especially if you're going on the west side, heading south from like H.G. Mosley, it's really bad if you're on that right-hand side where it almost wants to throw you into the curb. And so I just want to see if that gets addressed with an overlay.
Yeah, that will certainly be addressed. I mean, that's one of the crown of that road. We can't change the crown a whole lot, but there will be some adjustment to it when they do that overlay.
And then the other thing too, I just want to clarify. So this is in addition to the normal budget. So
Yes.
ultimately, what we're doing with this is we're kind of moving a year up and getting a year extra.
Yes,
worth
it'll
of
give us
work.
a whole additional year of overlay on some of our collectors. It'll make a big impact.
And then who does this process? Who does the overlay process?
We
And how's that
usually have a
work?
company called Cutler that comes in and does that. They've been in town recently doing some overlays now. So
And
you see them on Fairmont and
Who did the
Spring-
recent ones like Tryon and the other roads?
that was all Cutler.
All Cutler too. Okay, they did a good job. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Do you have a comment, question?
Can we put the rows back up?
Sure. Oops. There we go.
So when we go from the street to street, that's gonna encompass inside the neighborhoods from Sabine, say to 1845, inside those
That'll be
neighborhoods?
Yeah, I'm sorry, that'll be just that roadway.
So that'll be the roadway. So how are we addressing like the streets that we put up like that are inside the neighborhoods? Like we have some streets that literally there's a drop off on the edge of the roads.
Yeah, those we can deal with our dig out and patch crews and address those. I guarantee you when we come back to budget next year, we're gonna have more money in our asphalt budget for that reason. We need to do more of that on those local roads. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dwayne. I appreciate it. And just, yeah, as our reminder to council, I know we took a little time after we did the budget, but we talked about the general reserves and discussion. This was our road discussion. And then next time we'll have Chief Grimes talk to us about the fire lease and that. So kind of our general reserve overview will be happening in the next couple of months. So part of that. So thank you so much, Mr. Archer. Oh, go ahead, Ms.
I
Wade.
just wanted Mr. Archer to confirm that there was no favoritism towards me in selecting Young Street because I grew up on it, correct?
No, not at all.
Okay, I just wanted you to publicly acknowledge that.
There we go. It's done.
I'll get phone calls because that is the street that I was raised on.
Yeah,
So,
it does need some work, though.
Yes.
Good answer, Dwayne.
Before I moved on to the consent agenda, I did want to say a special thank you to some of our LEDCO board members that are here tonight. Julie Woods, Runjit Kadali, Tolly Wilkinson, and Richard Kilby. Thank you guys for being here. And of course, Wayne and Heather are here for that presentation as well. And Mr. Dan Sorey is our GCAD nominee. He's back here somewhere as well. Where'd you go? Up to the front. You moved. Sorry. Anyway, thank you for being here. We're glad to have you. On the consent agenda, I think we wanted to pull D and talk about it. Is that right, Jody? Yes. Yeah. I have D to pull. Any other items? E and F.
J.
And J. Hold on. Okay, I've got D, E, F, and J. Any others? Oh, sorry, Derek.
Yeah, I was just J and K also, please.
Okay. All right, let's start with D, and this is consider a resolution appointing members to the LEDCO Board of Directors. Wayne, I will ask you to come up and help me with that wherever you're at. Oh, there you are, hiding in the bag. Do we have specific questions?
Well, I did get the opportunity to speak with Wayne just a little bit, but I wanted to tell him, and shared with him earlier, you know, I looked at the resumes of the people that he's wanting to put on the board, and without a doubt, they're excellent candidates for this position. In looking at members of the board, being a member of District 5, I really do like to see representation coming throughout the city. And like I shared with Wayne earlier, you know, even me as a council member, if it's something good for the city of Longview, I want it to happen. I'm not specifically saying, hey, I want somebody there to make things happen on the west side. But I do feel like the board needs representation from all areas of the city, just to make people comfortable. It's just like our dais up here. Everybody's from a different portion, but the bottom line is we have the city of Longview at heart. And I just want to, as we go forward, and my time's here, I hope to see that to where it becomes available. But like I said, your two candidates you have right here and their resumes, they're well fit for this position. And I've heard nothing but good things, Wayne, and you and I discussed, you know, getting together and spending some time, and I look forward to that, so.
Yeah, and I'm happy to address that if you'd like. The composition of the LEDCO board by nature is non-political, and that's somewhat established by state law. The purpose for that is economic development. When companies come here, they do not like to be involved in the local politics. We look at business people, industry leaders that are making business decisions every day, regardless of where they come from. We're very fortunate that the only agenda our board has is to help Longview and Gregg County grow and develop. And that's what we look for, are the experiences and the knowledge of each candidate to serve on that board. Coincidentally, we did have a long-standing member on our LEDCO board that rolled off, Ms. Natalie Lynch, who was an outstanding member and really had a great input and impact on LEDCO and Longview in general. The other challenge that we have is companies are not specific to certain areas, other than is there a site available, is there infrastructure, and is there labor available? If you think about it, Longview and Gregg County in general is very limited. For instance, Gregg County is about a little over 250 square miles. By comparison, Smith County is 950 square miles. So the locations of companies becomes very limited. And then when you throw in the fact that the west and southwest portion of our city is eaten up by the Sabine River, it makes it even more limited. That was, I think, one of the reasons the foresight was back in 2007 to purchase the land at the North Business Park, which has proved beneficial for the community. So what we try to do when we bring companies here is provide them options. There are not any available properties, or buildings, maybe one or two throughout the city. A lot of companies like to see existing buildings, but we just don't have them. And that's true everywhere. I talk to colleagues from all over, not just Texas, but the Southeast. And we have consultants call all the time and say, we just can't find anything. So what we try to do is maximize the potential for that company to locate here in Longview, irrespective of which council district or school district they may be in. We want Longview and Gray County to grow and succeed.
And we talked about that. We've got several businesses that have come in that's expanded and growing. The revenues to the city is important. We briefly talked about that, but I appreciate that. I wanted to voice that concern. Sure. Because I know I've got some people in my area that they don't view it as non-political.
Right.
It does become political at a glance.
Yeah, and I understand. I mean, the very nature of a city council is political, and understand. But I think the success of LEDCO is due to the fact that we're a non-political board.
And I will give to Wayne's credit. If I see somebody that I think is a good LEDCO potential board member, I'll ask for their resume, I'll send it to Wayne. He will have lunch with them, kind of vet that out. So if anybody has good options or runs into anybody, Wayne is always interested in finding good board members. So
absolutely.
I don't think you've picked anybody that I've suggested yet, but I won't take that personally. But yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Mansfield, thank you for being here. On our LEDCO board right now, how many seats do you have open, and/or how many people? I guess you mentioned it, those that are rolling off.
Right.
Do you mind updating me on that?
Yeah, so our composition being a Type A corporation, we have to have 5 voting members. And some years back, the city voted to have 5 additional ex officio or non-voting members. And the way the terms are staggered, and they're all term limited. Voting members are, by state law, are term limited to 6 years. It could be 2 3-year terms, 3 2-year term, or 2 3-year terms, ever how the local community decides to address its composition. Non-voting members serve 2 2-year terms, so 4 years total for non-voting, 6 years. But the way the terms are staggered, when voting members roll off, we try to roll the non-voting members into that, so you're not retraining a whole new group of board members. And it makes it seamless. It keeps the continuity. Right now, yes, we do have 2 openings, 2 voting position openings. So the recommendation was to move 2 of the non-voting members into those roles, which would then open up 2 non-voting positions.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Oh, go ahead, Jen.
Yes. So what would you say are some of the qualifications for your board?
Well, I can just, for example, the qualifications of our existing board, we have 1 member, 2 members actually engaged in the oil and gas business. Also, Richard here works for R. Lacey, but he also manages their portfolio. So the business expertise that he brings as we're making business decisions is paramount. It's incredible. We have a voting member who owns a surveying company. He's probably walked every square inch of Gregg County. We have a board member who's in real estate and land development. We have a board member who owns an environmental consulting firm. We have a board member involved in logistics. All of these components put into the gumbo, so to speak, help us discern, discuss, and make the best possible decision for a company to locate here and for the incentives that we may apply to that project.
Okay. And how often do you request resumes for those?
Generally, when we see that, we try to have a conversation with potential candidates early on. But like I said, these positions are there for 6 years for voting and 4 years for non-voting. I believe the way our composition is now, we will have 2 voting members roll off and move 2 non-voting members into those roles next year.
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead, Dick. Go ahead, sorry.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Manfield. You said the word non-political a few times. Can you just kind of briefly, especially with this temperature in here, we're going to go suggested briefly, kind of just explain to us the selection process, how the timeline that it takes, and
Yeah,
request for-
well, as I mentioned, we meet with a lot of different companies, locally owned companies, business leaders, and ascertain whether that's a potentially good fit that can make that type of business decision for the benefit of Longview. And time frame, it just depends on when those positions are coming open, and we try to act early enough that we can vet that out and make sure it is a good fit. Over the years, I can tell you there have been instances where we've had potential candidates, but after one discussion with them, you can tell very quickly that the mindset's not there.
And how often do you, this board, how often do your board of directors meet?
Once a month. On average, occasionally we will not meet if there's no vote necessary and we don't have anything to present to the board. That happens maybe once or twice a year. But on average, once a month.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to move on to E. Thank you so much, Wayne. I'll move on to E, which I guess is me. Consider a resolution nominating Mr. Dan Sorry, thank you for being here, to the Gregg County Appraisal District Board of Directors. That's under me. I think you pulled that. Yes.
So I pulled those both too, because are these the same, the one that's doing the bid for, on E and F, or is this the same person?
Oh, yep.
And then is it also the same one that we're leasing from as well?
Oh, yes, Dan owns the building that we lease from downtown.
So there's no conflict in any of that?
No, being on the GCAD board is probably not a coveted position, and I think that Dan has a thick skin. So no, there is no financial gain from serving on the GCAD board. Do you want to add something?
No, the other thing, and Dwayne can come talk about the property, but this has been a property that the city's owned for some time, and we took bids for, and actually it works the opposite. When you're selling something, you take the high bidder, and he bid the highest, and so that's right. If I don't remember the details.
Right,
of
yeah, it was just a lot that we were not using, and it was sitting out there. It was just, just taking maintenance dollars is what it was doing.
Off the
And
tax
so
rolls, so.
When Dan showed interest in it, we put it out and auctioned it off, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
We appreciate it going back on the tax roll.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so are we good on E and F?
Yes.
Okay, and then I will move on to J. Consider a resolution awarding a contract in the amount of $357, to Casey Sloan Construction. That is going to be Mr. Archer for
And-
parking canopy.
And I know Dwayne and I spoke about this earlier, but for clarification and transparency, I'd like to kind of talk about how this all started, because this conversation started before we ever built the police station.
Right.
And I think it's a valuable information, and financially, we're able to do this at this time, but
Yeah, these awnings have been part of the plan all along. They were pulled early on in the construction and said, we'll have the contractor do the police building without those, and we may do those ourselves later on. And so we put it out to bid. It's about 58 spots that are located the first two rows behind the PD building, just to protect those units that are parked there. And so this is actually getting that done, which is important for them.
right. And like I said, this was part of the original plan, but we felt that we could save us some money
Right.
being able to come
Yeah.
back and do this.
It was always part of the plan, yes, sir.
Good, good. And K? Oh, I'm sorry, Derek,
Yeah,
you
when
have
you,
a question?
when you talk about original plan, you basically, you put in, it says that that's provided, the funding's provided by the Public Safety Bond Fund.
Yes, sir.
So would that be, that would have been, when was that bond established?
That's the 2018
2018
bond,
okay.
yes, sir.
And then, yeah, K, we moving to K.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just gonna get clarification on K with the size of that investment, and then, talk about the funding, where that happened.
Generator installations.
Yeah, this was some grant funding that we had received that will put a generator at Station 1 and Station 3. So we need to make sure that we have generator support at those stations, and then we were able to levy some grant money to be able to get it done. So,
All right, thank you, Mr. Archer.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other items that we want to discuss on the consent agenda, or can I have a motion to approve?
Well.
Oh, I'm
real-
sorry, Jody.
No, real quick. Dwayne, on those air conditioners on M, you can stay seated. Hey, if we don't get this fixed, can we borrow one of those? All right. No.
Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Thank you. And a second?
And second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Consent agenda is approved. I will move on to zoning item A. Ms. Choi.
Thank you. So the applicant is requesting to rezone property located here on Alice Drive from Neighborhood Services Zoning District, seen here on the zoning map, to single family 4. The applicant would like to construct a single family home here. As you can see on the zoning map, this lot is almost completely surrounded by single family 4. It does comply with our future land use map as seen here. Planning and Zoning Commission along with staff recommends approval of this request. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Choi? This item does require a public hearing, which I will open at this time. I do not have any speaker cards. Would anyone like to speak in favor or in opposition of this project? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the zoning as
Second.
presented.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Zoning item is approved. Thank you so much, Ms. Choi. Action item A, consider a resolution adopting a 5-year capital improvements program and allocating funds. Mr. Zach Shaner.
Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council, Mr. Kafi. Tonight, I'm bringing for City Council consideration a resolution authorizing the fiscal year 2025-26 capital improvement program. As you may recall, the capital improvements program is prepared using policies adopted by the council. Projects are compiled as identified in studies, the comprehensive plan, small area plans, or the master plan, and ranked accordingly based on urgency and priorities. This is the approved CIP list from last year. Allow me to now go over the fiscal year 25-26 funded projects. Our drainage fund is supported by a 1/4-cent sales tax. This sales tax was established in 1991 as a funding source to address drainage concerns in our community. Drainage projects are prioritized by building flooding, which is buildings outside the floodplain, major erosion, which threatens buildings and structures, and minor erosion or property flooding. This amount will be used to construct improvements to mitigate repetitive home flooding that is threatening the structures and/or storm sewer problems at 1709 Wellington Lane. The proposed wastewater improvement project will replace sewer lines in disrepair along Melba Street, Jonquil Drive, 13th Street, and Malden Drive. The water improvement project will replace the ozone generator at the Lake of the Pines treatment plant. This equipment is necessary for disinfecting our water. The current generator is beyond its service life.
Very important to me.
The next project is our Outdoor Links automated lighting and gate access control system. This is at both Lear Park and Spring Hill Park. These improvements are expected to save overtime cost for the Parks and Recreation Department. Last slide represents the approved CIP list for the fiscal year 25-26 budget. In total, these 4 projects total $4.3 million. And with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Yep. Go ahead, Mr. Newstead.
Does Hensley Park have the automation?
No. No. You know that answer. Fair enough.
No, sir. Hensley does not. And Lear and Spring Hill were chosen for this because we're using hot funds. So in order to use those hot funds, we have to use them at a facility where we regularly host tournaments from out-of-town personnel or people.
Okay, so Hensley would not qualify in the use of those funds?
No, sir, it wouldn't.
All right, thank you, Mr. Alverson. I'm sorry to hear that. But
Any additional questions?
Any questions for Zach? Just to clarify, all of the funds are from other funds, not from our general reserves and not from our operating budget. These are all paid for from
Yes,
the other
ma'am.
funds.
Yes,
Perfect. Thank you, Zach. Good job. I
Thank
suppose
you.
I need a motion to approve those items.
Motion to approve.
Thank
Second.
you. In a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? CIP list is approved. Well done. Action item B, consider a resolution approving the LEDCO 25-26 budget. Mr. Wayne Mansfield. Come on up.
Back again, right?
Back again.
Well, I'll say back in the good old days, Mayor Mack would give me 8 minutes to present the budget, and given the fact that we have no air conditioner, I'll try to make it quicker.
I think you are very important. You can take the time that you need.
Yeah, we're excited to present our budget here. Overall, the budget is pretty much the same as last year. We've had a great year with some recent announcements. We're working on a couple of things right now that hopefully we're getting closer to bringing them to Longview. Quickly go through our budget. Proposals generated 31, site visits 7. That's a pretty good number for a secondary market like Longview. It's hard to compete with the Dallases and Austins that are getting hundreds because that's where people tend to want to be. So we have to be extremely competitive. And I can tell you, and I'll give you one example, how competitive economic development is for any given community. There are over 3,500 economic development entities in the U.S., and we're all chasing one project. Any community has less than a 0.01% chance of landing a project any given year. Odds are not good. We were very competitive and finished second to a major aerospace project here recently, over $1 billion in capital investment. They chose Florida. Even though the consultant, we were tops in everything except Florida in the local community gave them a 50% or 50-year, 100% full abatement, including school taxes. Now, Mr. Connolly,
Can't fight that.
I think that would be hard for me to sell to Pine Tree for 100% abatement. And no, we don't have a mechanism to do that in Texas. But that's just one example of how competitive the world. So for us to have these types of proposals and site visits is really good for Longview. 29 projects we're working on, 9 are active, and as I mentioned, hopefully we're getting closer to having them make Longview their final site. Just a snapshot, I try to gauge, because the composition of LEDCO was really changed about 9 years ago, and I try to gauge what that impact is to the community. And here you see the projects that LEDCO, and this includes both new projects and expansion existing industry. We work with our existing industry. We have a very robust BRE program with LEDCO. Companies like Endevco, Komatsu, Colony Cabinet, Hatco, Aeon Coil, Keep Right, these are all existing industries.
And Wayne, you started in 2016 with Longview,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So this is really your list of accomplishments
Yes, ma'am.
on behalf of Longview. 3,837
Well-
jobs and 162 million in net city. I'm not saying you shouldn't humble brag on that. I'm just pointing out this is the impact that you have had with.
Well, it's the LEDCO team and LEDCO
Absolutely.
board, as well as the team members here in the city. Because I can tell you, is an outstanding team when we meet with Roland and Marianne or Michael and Angela, Dwayne, even at times Chief Boone. Just an outstanding team that shows very well for Longview.
Is that
Yes, sir.
including on the Brookshire's investment? Is that including the new fresh store?
Yes, sir, that's what that is.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is slated to open sometime between now and the end of October.
Oh.
So we're excited about that project. But just to give you an example, and I was looking back from the creation of LEDCO in November of '91 to 2015, that capital investment number is about $480 million. So we, in less than half that time, have caught
Should have
that
waited to
number.
brag on you. It's all right.
But I think it underscores the importance of the composition of our board and how we go about making those business decisions.
Absolutely.
Well, also, what's not on there is the record with Eastman Chemical, which things sometimes are outside of our control.
Yeah.
But you had a really huge 2024, 2025, because not only did we have the Eastman, which was record-setting deal, but you also closed on 1,200 acres
Correct.
of land too as well. So y'all had a really busy year.
And we're having a busy year right now, too,
Good.
which is great. Type B projects. So I mentioned earlier, we're a Type A corporation, which is true economic development, recruit business, work with the existing industry. Type B is more of a community development organization. But in '94, I believe, or '96, the voters approved LEDCO to have some limited Type B authority. And those are mainly with public safety and parks. So in infrastructure. So you'll see Since 2016, we have committed almost $17 million, which helps relieve the burden for Rollin and his team to find that money to put in the budget. So we happily, recently, the Teague Park that we committed to, we purchased the American Legion building until such time that we can convey it to the city once the grant kicks in. More recently, we committed $300,000 for the pickleball courts at McWhorter Park.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's McWhorter.
The Fresh project that we moved some sewer lines and improved some drainage. The sidewalks around our new office building, our transit system, which we'll talk about a little bit here in a minute. The training center for the fire station and or the fire department and the fire station in the North Business Park. But we continue communicate with Rollin, how can we continue to assist with these Type B projects that will help relieve the burden and let y'all short funds for road paving or sewer improvements or whatever else is needed.
I was just going to thank for the pickleball courts, and to me, it's more than a B. It could be a B plus or A minus project. But appreciate the generosity.
Well, the Trails project is probably one of our favorite. That was one of the first ones we did when I came here. We had about $4 to $5 million in debt from a previous bond issue that paid for the infrastructure in the North Business Park back in 2007. We reissued that debt and added some additional that we were able to build out the trail system in conjunction also with a state grant. And that has been an amazing amenity that has actually helped bring industry here. But like I said, we'll continue to work with Rollin and Marianne and look at what other Type B projects that we can contribute to moving forward. So into our budget, you'll see I have a comparison of last year versus what our budget is for this year. Our sales tax revenue is pretty much the same, but we do draw revenue, interest revenue from our money market account, and I intentionally put this number conservative. We actually probably bring in about $400,000 to $500,000 in interest revenue. I intentionally keep it a little bit low in case there is a shortfall in the sales tax over the year and that we're not going over budget. But we do have other revenue. When we purchased the land, John, you mentioned, that came with a grazing lease. So we do receive a little over $10,000 a year for the grazing lease. So with that $8.1 million, how we intend to spend it? With our industry, this includes our marketing efforts, primarily, and then our retail. We cannot incentivize retail, but we do market for retail. We do have a person in our office that attends the retail trade shows, meeting with developers. Again, Longview being a secondary market, it's hard for them to understand if you're not out there in front of them. Talent, that number has decreased mainly because we have transferred the Work Keys program to Kilgore College. We felt that was better served for them, that could benefit the entire community. Eastman Chemical is the primary beneficiary of that, and it's an outstanding program, but it did free us up for a little bit of money to move throughout the budget.
What was that program called?
Work Keys.
Spell it.
Work Keys.
Oh, so okay,
yeah.
it's like Keys. Okay.
Yeah, it's administered by ACT, the same college admissions test. It's under that same footprint.
Okay. Couldn't.
And then
He couldn't spell it either. No, it was okay.
that old miseducation, right, Ron? See, I've even broke the machine.
Keys to get you to work.
All right. Projects, that is the transit system. Here again, here's an example. And again, this is allowed by state law where we can contribute funds for the public transit system. That request went up from $300 to $350 this year. We feel that that's a very important part of Longview. It helps people get to work, helps people get to health care, get to retail. So we were excited to be able to participate with that. And then our G&A, personnel and benefits, we did go up slightly. That's the main reason is there because we added a new position. We had an individual in the office who was doing both the workforce development and business retention. We had a young lady that graduated with a degree. and I split that responsibility up, and she took over the BRE, and Tim is doing the workforce development. That number also mirrors the increases that the city council approved for city employees. So that's the reason for that increase. Office expenses, I bumped up a little bit, mainly due to the inflation. Insurance, that is our liability insurance. Professional services, that is our legal and audit and accounting. We do have a third-party accountant that reviews or pays our bills, reviews our budget. I meet with her quarterly. And then also they review our performance agreements to ensure compliance. Our business park, we now have 3 business parks. Fortunately, one of them we don't have to put a lot of maintenance money in because there are cows grazing it. But the other 2 we do have to constantly mow and unfortunately remove trash. I don't understand why people feel the need to throw their trash outside their car, but unfortunately they do. And also we pay for the lights at the entrances. Next is our debt service. We did take out a loan to purchase that land. That is our yearly payment. And then the debt service for the bonds for the trails you'll see there. And then for our non-fixed assets, we kept the same $25,000. That's where we purchased chairs or computers, whatever's needed. We have like a 5-year rotation on 2 or 3 computers each year for our office to keep them new and operable. And then our real property site plan, oftentimes when we get RFIs or requests for information in or proposals, we will work with a local engineer to try to be more proactive and pay to have a site plan laid out so when that prospect comes, they can see that they could put their 200,000 square foot building on that parcel and it has adequate parking and that there is water and sewer and gas there. So that's part of that. Or if occasionally we have to do phase 1 environmental analysis on our property, so that's where those expenses come from. So we do have really a second budget. Oh, excuse me, before we finish here. Scheduled incentive payments, those are what we pay out, what we're obligated to pay out for the year for performance agreements that we have with existing industries like Aon Coil, for example. The recent one we just announced with Flanders. And so on. So that leaves us right at $3 million left that we can allocate for this coming year's economic development projects. Anything above the 8.1 million, and that number right there, that 2.9 is the one affected. If we landed another gap type project, we would probably have to come in and ask for a budget amendment. And let's hope that happens. And then I did take $500,000 out of the fund balance to put into our second budget, which is our capital budget. And this is where we look at improvements to our business park. You'll look here, our new office, we pay for that. That last year, that $200 was for the sidewalk project that was required around Whaley and 2nd Street. And then I did put $250 for the new, what we're calling the Barquet Business Park, for beginning engineering on that. So that transfer in is at 500,000 is that number you see at the bottom, because the capital budget does not generate revenue. And I believe that is it. So have any questions?
Thank you so much. I see John's got his hand raised.
I have a couple questions, Wayne. So the Trails bond, when is that going to be paid off?
5 years, I believe.
That's good. Okay. And then the incentive payments, it had a drop off. What's the reason?
Yeah, so our incentive payments are anywhere from 2 years to 5 years. And we've had some that have completed their term of their agreement.
Okay. Thank you.
Questions? Go ahead.
Oh, can you go back to the jobs created slide?
Yes.
So on Komatsu, why is there not anything?
At that time, they did not create any jobs.
Okay.
They were staying even. That was around 2017, I believe, when that project started. But they did not intend to. Komatsu is a unique company, and this is true with most Japanese companies that I work for. They look at their 5-year, 10-year plan, but they don't like to commit anything, including new job numbers, after 5 years. So they did commit the capital investment. We did not incentivize them. We tried to look at ways we could help. They did not want the incentives, but we did assist in other ways. So that is kind of, I mean, we do a lot of other things than just recruit industries. We work with our CTE programs. We work with Kilgore College. We work with UT Tyler, Laterno. And then we also assist in a lot of other ways, any way we can help. So, but that's, at that time, they were not committed to creating, but just keeping what they had.
Okay. Are they committed to creating jobs here now?
Well, yes, ma'am. I mean, I know they're committed to keeping what's there, but I can't really say anything beyond that right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Derek.
Yeah, so you, with the $8.1 million proposed budget, 25-26, comparing that to 7.8 from 24-25, can you kind of give us a time, like, has the budget increased with these projects through time, and is that the history, is that pretty typical of what your LEDCO budget has been?
It's been pretty steady with a slight increase over the past 3 years, but it is increased since 2016. I believe I was looking at it earlier. The 2015-16 budget was around $4 to $5 million, a little less than $5 million.
And what do you attribute that increase?
The growth.
The growth?
I think driving down the loop on Saturday afternoon. I mean, it's, the growth. When you look, and I can show you from the Federal Reserve, the employment numbers have increased dramatically for the Longview MSA. And it's not just Longview. I mean, Kilgore's done some great things too, but all of that contributes to our economy, because when companies locate there, there are workers now that may be living in Kilgore that do come to Longview and shop. So that's a part of it. It's not just one thing, it's a collection of things that contribute to it.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah. Any other questions for Wayne or discussion? Or I need a motion to approve his budget.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
And all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? LEDCO budget is approved. Thank you so much for spending time with us, Wayne.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to excuse Mr. Sidney Allen?
Yes, motion to approve Sidney Allen.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Shannon is the only in favor. Any opposed? Okay, Mr. Allen is approved. Items of community interest. Mr. Conley, you're up first.
Well, we started this meeting, and I feel being in this chair allows me the honor of just thanking on this day, September 11th, honoring our first responders, our public safety officials, our fire and police, and that do all they can to keep us safe on a daily basis and run into danger. Also, I just like to, there's been a lot of recent tragedies, and I pray for those families. I pray for peace for our country in this time, this very sad time. On a better note, happier note, Pine Tree, I got to visit with one of my old elementary schools, and it's always fun, man.
They're excited to see you.
Get the hugs, and somebody took a couple pictures and shared it with me, and then doing a lot of great things. Just finished week 5 in school. Is that crazy? And now tomorrow night is homecoming, and I think that next picture shows some Pine Tree football players coming out. So if you're alumni of Pine Tree, Steve Cluxton told me today, come on out to the Pete's Plaza and grab a hot dog or whatever they have over there and make yourself at home. And I hope everybody enjoys homecoming at Pine Tree tomorrow night at Pirate Stadium. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Ms. Moore.
We have our housing survey. We're going to have an open house on Tuesday, September 23rd at 5:30 p.m. We will meet to talk about the needs of our residents, understand experiences, challenges, and ideas. You can go ahead and complete the survey at longviewtexas.gov/housing survey. And again, it is Tuesday, September 23rd at 5:30.
Perfect. Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Wade.
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. No adoptable pets?
Actually, since you mentioned that, I adopted a pet this week, guys.
What kind of pet?
It's a Labrador mix, and her name is Kuroi. It's Japanese for black.
We need a picture next time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a picture. So thank you for mentioning that.
Good job. Thank you.
You read my mind.
Go ahead, Mr. Houston.
Awesome. So having our third annual District 4 Town Hall meeting. It's going to be at the Event Center on Alpine, which is also where the East Texas Builder Association is. We've had it there every year. They've been great hosts. So come there for that, 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, October 2nd. And I do provide food, so come hungry as well, or the city staff. And then last time we had a lot of leftovers, so the police got it. So, so it was great. Come out, though, here, get a recap of what all happened in the past year, what we have coming up in the city and in District 4 specifically, and then address any questions or concerns you may have. I'd love to see you there. Also, the City of Longview has put together a team for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. That's on Saturday, October 4th. The check-in is at 8 a.m., and then the opening ceremony is at 9 a.m. It's at Teague Park this year. In the past, last year was at Teague Park, but the year before that it was always down by the courthouse. But due to the fabulous parking garage, they've relocated to Teague Park. And the Teague Park facility has been phenomenal. So thank you to the Parks Department for helping set that up. And it was a wonderful event. So come out there, support that, and together we can walk together to help end Alzheimer's. And then join us for the DeFi conference. So it's on Tuesday, September 16th at 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Mod Cobb Convention Center. And it's a Coalition for Drug-Free Youth. And it'll help with a free event to open to all parents and guardians for youth grades 6 to 12. A lot of great education there, dinner, door prizes, resources, all that. So register with the QR code on there or visit the website listed there for it. So come out for that event. And that's all.
Thank you. Mr. Berryhill.
I just wanted to give a thanks out. Anybody who's been around Spring Hill High School know that they're doing some road work over there. And one of the things was a crosswalk that needed to be addressed, a little brightened up. And I'm telling you, I've had quite a few comments, all positive, and people at Spring Hill are very thankful for what you did going out your way, because I know mid-road crosswalks are not a big thing, and we're trying to work on that and draw attention because we are back in school. And you just got to remember, twice a day it's going to be busy, and you need to slow down, pay attention to your kids. But Dwayne and your crew, thank you so much for making that happen, and so quick. And I've got to give it to you, since I've stepped up here. Anytime I call Dwayne, it's, man, I've been super pleased, excited. I got to spend some time with him last week, meet quite a few of his staff, and I know we're going to talk about fire trucks coming down the road, and believe me, Dwayne had 4 or 5 of them sitting back there just trying to keep running and keep on the road. But his guys do a great job. I mean, from all the way across the board. Thank you, Dwayne, and thank you for what you're doing for us in District 5.
Good job. Good job. Mr. McPhee.
At the retirement of Fire Marshal Kevin May, I was visiting with a firefighter. I think he happens to be in here. But one of the things that he said to me was that there are a number of firefighters that he works with that are 24 or younger and weren't alive when September 11th happened. And I thought that was pretty poignant, that we need to keep that memory alive, and that memory should show us of what it's like when we are united in common cause, and we should remember and hope that we can bring that unity here again. Thank you.
Thank you, Roland. I have a couple of just really great things to brag about our first responders on tonight. I'm sure you guys remember several months ago now the tragic flooding that was in and around Kerrville, and how proud we were to have Longview Fire Department trained experts, best in their field, attend and help in that state tragedy. We were recognized at a state level, and we want to invite the community out to come thank those that were deployed and there for an extended period of time away from their families. So the public is invited to join the Longview Fire Department as they officially recognize and commend the personnel who traveled to Kerrville to help in the aftermath of this deadly flooding. The ceremony will be held at 4 p.m. on Friday, September 26th at Fire Station 5. That's at 102 West Niblick Street, and we invite you to come out, have your kids bring a card, show some appreciation. We really want this to be a great opportunity to thank those who serve selflessly, and we're just, gosh, we're so proud. So thank you guys. Please join us for that. One other update I have from LPD. thank Chief Boone for putting this together, and also wanted to brag on our police department tonight. I'm sure you saw in the news this week, baby Jane Doe. The Longview Police Department responded to a dead infant located in the woods off of Harrison Road on June 25th in 1998. The department processed the scene methodically and preserved evidence that technology did not quite have a way to process at that time. Fast forward almost 3 decades later, and Crimes Against Persons Sergeant Eric Cunningham learned of Othram Labs Incorporated, which is a private company with a mission that states justice is not a luxury, it is a basic human right. He learned that through private funding, there were scholarship slots available for law enforcement to utilize in specific cases. Othram titles this particular initiative Project 525. Longview PD detectives applied to Othram and later learned that this particular case qualified for their program. After sifting through the evidence and several weeks of correspondence between Longview PD and Othram, detectives were able to deliver specific physical evidence to the lab in May of this year from 1998. On September 9th, 2025, Sergeant Cunningham received an email stating that the lab had sent results with a possible identity of the parent of the deceased infant. The investigative leads provided both paternal and maternal results of the suspected person dating back to the 1820s, as well as an ethnicity breakdown for the DNA. In both the paternal and maternal familial diagrams, it led to the same person on both genetic networks. With this information, Longview police detectives obtained a search warrant for the suspected person's DNA. When serving the evidentiary warrant on August 9th, the detectives had a conversation with the suspect, Misty Mitchell. Mitchell admitted that she knew about the murder and admitted that she was indeed the mother of this child. Ms. Mitchell was placed in custody for capital murder at this time. Again, we would like to thank and honor the professionalism and the work of the officers and detectives from 1998. We are thankful to have people like Sergeant Eric Cunningham and our team of detectives that are always looking for opportunities to be finders of fact so that justice may be served. And we are thankful that funding and companies such as Othram exist to allow justice and technology to intersect. Cases may sometimes become cold, but they are never forgotten. So Chief Boone, I just want to celebrate you and the work of the police department. It would have been easy not to have gone out of your way to have solved that, and I am just so proud of Longview PD. On a much less serious note, it is time now for the Peanut Butter Challenge. You'll remember that we lost to Tyler last year, so this is our comeback year. Please bring your peanut butter donations. They benefit the East Texas Food Bank here in Longview that serves over 1,000 families a month here in the Longview area. Last year, Longview brought 18,000 jars of peanut butter, and that fed a tremendous amount of our neighbors here in Longview. So please participate. The food bank has received funding cuts like every other nonprofit this year. They need our support. Please bring your peanut butter. You can do so at any Super One, Brookshire's, or Chick-fil-A. I think Chick-fil-A is giving you a free sandwich, so maybe take it there. You can also bring it to my office or City Hall, but it does need to be turned in by September 27th, and we appreciate your support so much. Executive session under 551-071 of the Texas Government Code for consultation with our attorney is where we will adjourn next to discuss and deliberate an ordinance authorizing settlement of claims related to certain properties located at 2, 3, and 4 Camden Court, including any necessary property acquisition. City Council may reconvene in open session to vote on this item. Thank you guys for being here, and we may come back.